Hello, welcome to Staring into the Abyss. I'm your host, Richard Gerlach. With me, as always, is Vladimir.
Hey, so I'm stuck in a luxury apartment and I need some quarters for the laundry machine.
Doesn't take cards anymore?
I get that reference.
No, it doesn't.
Unfortunately, Matt's not here because he got lost in his luxury apartment building. But we do have a special guest, which is Sean M. Thompson, author of the Nowhere Complex.
Sean, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. Sean Malia Thompson.
Malia
But either
Thompson,
way,
my
Sean Malia,
apologies.
Sean M.
I did not want
I
to
go by
mispronounce
both.
it. So Sean Malia
It's
Thompson?
Malia, like I
Malia?
will mail ya.
Malia. Okay, my apologies. Sean Malia Thompson, the author of the Nowhere Complex.
Indeed, it is I. I'm sorry, I interrupted you for that.
welcome back to Staring into the Abyss. It's been a while since we've had you on, like about a year, I think.
About a
Um,
year, yeah. Last time I came on for Clear Lake Killer.
yeah. But before we get into our media recommendations and then our discussion and interview about your book, why don't you kind of tell our audience what Nowhere Complex is about?
Man, yeah, Norwalk Complex is about a girl who was in a car crash with her parents. Her parents died, and she uses the insurance money to move into this really nice luxury apartment. But stuff is just like not right. And as the book goes, you find out exactly how not right. Yeah, that's it. I mean,
That's pretty concise, but yeah, I'd say it definitely teeters into kind of like some surreal aspects as it goes into it, and we'll kind of talk about that as it goes. But before we fully dive in, just to let our audience know that this book is available at all the online retailers, and if you're interested, be sure to pick up a copy because it's a pretty quick read, but it's also it gets going really good like as it builds up. So I definitely say if you're interested, give it a read because it's worth checking out. And before we dive into the interview, we do our little weekly rundowns to just give our audience some recommendations. And I think Vitlame, we can just get one out of the way together,
Yeah.
which is I attempted to watch Happy Gilmore too.
And I survived it.
I say attempted because I gave up about an hour in. Um, does it get better?
Um, I mean, yeah. I mean, as far as this kind of nostalgia trip comedy film takes you, then yeah, I think it does. But but like everyone is probably saying, the first one, the original, is far superior, of course.
It just
I just like seeing Adam Sandler. He looks both really having fun, but at the same time he's so tired.
I feel like
But I do like him.
I mean being from New England, especially Massachusetts, um, Adam Sandler's kind of a staple around here. Like you grew up watching his movies just because he's from Manchester, New Hampshire. So like in New England, you just kind of get Adam Sandler growing up here, and I'm happy to see the success that he's gotten. But man, some of these movies are rough. Like
Yeah. But then there are also so many good gems out there that actually prove that he can act.
I don't know, like
But
honestly,
he's
like
but he's just but he's just too comfortable being in these kind of movies because he's like, nah,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
for him it's
I
a
get money.
paycheck, and he gets paid. He gets to take his friends on a vacation.
Yeah.
They get to do some like cool luxury movie shoots, and then they enjoy their
Yeah.
money. Like
Yeah.
I'm not hating anything at all because I think like if I had money and I had a movie studio, I'd for sure do things to give my friends opportunities. Because all his movies feel like it's just him hanging out with friends, and
That is
like
true.
I I can't really fault him on that, you know. I just
Did
don't think comedy wise it's working as much anymore.
No, I think he needs to find a good script in order for it to really work.
Also, can I say, do you mind if I spoil anything of Happy Gilmore 2, Sean?
No, I do not care.
Okay. That stupid gag of him just hiding alcohol everywhere was so dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he hits a golf ball, picks up the golf ball, unscrews it, takes a shot, screws the golf ball back on, puts it back on the course. Like,
Yeah.
it was so stupid.
Did you get to the part where there's a famous cameo?
I stopped watching around the time Shooter McGavin got released from the mental institution.
Okay. I didn't. It took me a while to actually look at the guy, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?"
Who? What's the
And then-
cameo?
Eminem.
Oh, I heard there's an Eminem cameo in there.
He plays the son of the jackass actor in the first movie.
Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah.
Oh no, the jackass actor? Shit, and that's funny. That's funny.
The guy that says jackass.
Yeah, I was thinking jackass, not the guy who says jackass.
No, not Johnny Knoxville, the guy who says jackass to him all the time.
Yeah.
So
Man.
he plays the son. It's so funny. He gets ripped to shreds by alligators. That was actually really funny. That actually made me laugh. I was like, why? How would you get Eminem to play in this?
Honestly, he was in an Adam Sandler movie before. Like, funny. He was in Funny People.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that.
So they probably had that connection, like, before, too. But,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, this movie, it's definitely wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm still happy Adam Sandler is able to do his thing.
Yeah. I mean, I like the chemistry, I like the family chemistry between him and the daughter, which turned out to be his actual daughter.
Yeah.
So it was like yeah, I can see why they act like the chemistry is so good, because they're actually father and daughter.
Yeah, it was him giving his daughter an acting spot. Some good old nepotism in Hollywood.
Of course.
I'm not joking. Like,
Isn't
honestly,
that all
if I
it
was
is now?
is what?
Isn't that all Hollywood is now? Is just kind of secret nepo babies or not secret nepo babies?
For the most part, yeah. I think it's more secret. I mean, I don't know. I feel like most of the nepo babies, at least, are kind of public about being nepo babies now, where before they tried to keep it hidden.
That's true, but it's always funny. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I like this actress, and I'll Google her, and then it's like, oh, her dad is like a producer. And you're like,
yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like, what was it? Nosferatu was like, oh, here's Lily Rose Depp. Okay.
Yep.
She did a good job, but yeah.
No, she did a really good job. Like, honestly, I think Nosferatu was her best performance. Like, I'm not knocking her as an actress. She
didn't have any. I mean, I can't really remember if she was in anything that great before.
She's in that really shitty Kevin Smith movie, Yuga Hosers, with Kevin Smith's daughter.
Oh yeah.
Don't watch it.
That's hard to.
It's a terrible movie.
I heard quite bad. Yes.
Yeah, it's quite awful. But yeah, no, there's like lots of nepo babies in any industry these days, but Hollywood you see a bunch of it. But Vladimir,
not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I'm just, I think, jealous I'm not a nepo baby.
I think deep down all of us are jealous that we're not nepo babies. It would be nice to have those resources. I think we could all agree with that.
True.
But Vladimir, what else is on your list for this week?
So the past weeks I've been actually taking a break from playing Baldur's Gate 3, which is kind of amazing since it has been like my go-to game for like a year. And I've been playing a game called Digimon Survive. And it's I hope some of the listeners here are aware what Digimon is. It's like kind of like it was part of the 90s craze. Along with Pokemon, of course.
Digimon was a far superior show to Pokemon, and I will die on that hill. I will
No,
100%
I
die on that
completely
hill.
agree. I completely agree. The shows are so much better. Like when it comes to the games, I prefer Pokemon because they're like they don't really stray away from from the same shit. It's just add on new Pokemons and stuff, which is fine.
Yeah. And
So I
Digimon's
haven't really
always
played.
trying different stuff with their games.
Yeah,
The new
so
one, I
they
mean, not to cut you off, but we'll say the new one coming out actually looks really good.
which one?
I gotta get the name, but there's one coming out later this year that looks really good.
Okay, I did download another Digimon game that is like called I think Cyberstalkers or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard that one's good too.
Yeah.
So
So
this
yeah,
one's
so I hadn't
Digimon
like I hadn't
Survive.
really played any Digimon games until a couple of weeks ago, and the reason I picked up this game is because it was kind of described as like a turn-based game where you use the Digimons to fight other Digimons, and there's also kind of like a visual novel aspect of it, which is like in true to most Japanese games, and then there was also like a horror aspect to it as well. So I was like, oh, all of this mixed together, count me in. And I played it, and this is like kind of like the thing where you like all of the decisions that you make, they affect the game, like they affect the course of the game. And I finished it. What was it? Last Friday, I think. And I kind of like went through the harmony route. Like I wanted everything to go as smoothly and as possible, but it didn't. About 4 people died in my game.
And were they horrible deaths?
Like all. Yeah, well, yeah, kind of. Like they don't show any blood or anything like that because it's a kids game, of course. But it's like it's dark. Like one of them kind of like succumbs to his like depression, and kind of like starts hallucinating his dead mom, and he kind of just jumps off the bridge in order to be with her.
I had no idea
And
Digimon was like a darker Pokemon.
it is. It
No,
actually is
Digimon's
darker
really
Pokemon.
dark. Like some of the stuff that happens
It's
in
dark.
Digimon anime is quite dark.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And then one was like really abusive to his Digimon because he thought it was too weak, and they just kept like abusing it, like kicking it and everything. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's your partner. Let him go. To the point that the poor Digimon kind of like evolves into a horrific beast and eats the man. Oh, eats the boy. So like yeah, some of the deaths are kind of horrific, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, I really need to, try to keep it up so I don't kill as many like other people don't end up dying. But 2 more died, and I'm like, fuck, how am I supposed to survive this game? But in the end, four of the remaining 8 they survived. But then like as the credits rolled, then came like a little bit of a talk box, and it said, if Ryo, the first guy who died, if Ryo had more affinity, maybe everyone would have survived. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? How was I supposed to know? It was like low key like blaming me for their deaths.
I just looked up some stuff in Cyber Sleuth is also really dark and fucked up.
Great. I'm all up for that.
Like, this is just like a side thing, so it's not really a main game spoiler, but it says, an Inframon sells people virtual sex dolls of their crush, and then when they're using the sex dolls whilst log in, it breaks into their house and kills them, then chops them up and sells their organs on the black market. You're able to hack into one of the headsets and find the guy who was a victim. When you tell him, he tries to log out, but the system gives him an error, telling him his body isn't attached to the headset, so they can't log him out.
Holy shit.
Yeesh.
Okay, I'm psyched.
And this is from like a kid's anime. Like this.
Yeah, I know. So this is why I love anime so much, because it has so many fucked up things. So yeah, I probably will end up playing Cyber Sleuth or go back to the Digimon Survive and try another route to see that I'm kind of managed to make everyone survive. But yeah, that's the only thing that has been going on. Work has been really hectic so far. So yeah.
And Sean, how about yourself?
Well, I had the emotional whiplash of playing and beating Death Stranding 2,
Oh,
and
bro,
then
that
immediately going into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake, which
hell
is quite
yeah,
different.
dude. Death Stranding 2
Well,
was
yeah,
such an experience.
it really was. I loved the first game, but I got the sense from some people that they thought the first game was like, well, I don't know.
I
They
think
didn't
this.
like it.
I love the first game. I think the second game is better because it's more refined in many other ways.
I
But
think the second game is easier to just like, if you're a new player, just go in. Like, I remember the first game, it's legitimately like 10 hours before you're like even close to
yeah,
getting a sense of like, okay, I sort of get this now.
this one's more streamlined. Like I feel the second one is a lot more streamlined than the first one is. But like
It
I
is.
think
Also, there's like 800 things you can do now.
yeah. Did you learn the pizza martial arts?
I did. I learned pizza dough.
I learned pizza dough too. I was obsessed with like making all the connections because this is the first game. Once you get into a rhythm, it's so addicting
Yeah.
to just like deliver packages and get that star rating up. Um,
I remember last summer, I was sort of down, so I was just like hyper focused on Death Stranding. And on one of the mountains with the snow, I just built like a shitload of zip lines, and I got it so I could just immediately zip line to like two or three of them and just get my star rating up. So like I just listened to an audiobook and did that for like 20 hours or something.
honestly, I will say this about Death Stranding 2 is the mountain area in this one was breathtaking. Like when you get above the clouds and you have to wear the oxygen mask, you can see the fucking moon. Like,
Yeah, it was
and
pretty
like
sick.
it was, the game had some really breathtaking scenes, and the story was just the most video game bullshit ever, and I loved it.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like what he did going from Metal Gear Solid to Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's from Death Stranding to Death Stranding 2.
Well, I
But there
mean,
are also a lot of little Metal Gear nods. I think he's getting a little. He had a health scare, so I think he's getting a little nostalgic
a little bit.
for
Well, I mean,
like,
you
yeah, I
have.
did make Metal Gear, bitch.
I mean, the final boss game is just a callback to Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2.
Also 4, I think.
Yeah, 4 too. 3 was a different one. But yeah, because you're fighting on the back of that giant kaiju in this one. And it's
Yeah,
like a fist fight, only instead of a fist fight, it's a guitar axe fight.
definitely really insane. If you even say it out loud to people,
Yeah, I
they're
was
like, "What
trying,
the fuck
like,
are you talking about?"
I was talking to someone and they're like, just about this game, and they're just like, what's that? Like, what made this ending so incredible? And I'm like, if I even tried to describe it to you, you're gonna ask me what kind of drugs I'm on.
It's like, well, you
Like,
gotta go to the beach with your BBs to fight BTs, and they're like, What are you talking about?"
yeah, you gotta go to the beach with the BB, and you gotta fight Higgs because Higgs has taken Lou, and you need to save Lou because Lou is an EE, and you need to make sure that the Earth doesn't get destroyed in this extinction event. So you have to fight, um, Higgs while there's giant tar monster kaiju in the background with a mech head and a giant fight, and like you get thumbs up from people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you sound so unhinged just even trying to explain what the fuck happens in this game. It's great. Um, I'm happy Kojima was able to make this and able to do what he wants to do because I feel like with Konami you could tell he just wasn't happy with the Konami
Well, I think the
situation.
famous story was like he made Metal Gear, and then it did really well, and he was like, okay, I guess I'll make Metal Gear 2. And then, he would say, like, Metal Gear 3 is my last Metal Gear. And then it would come out, and they would, like, be like, you have to do another one. And he'd be like, okay, fine. Metal Gear 4 is my last Metal Gear. To the point where once he was doing 5, he didn't even say anything, and that was somehow more depressing.
Yeah, honestly, 4 is where the series should have ended. It was just a good concrete ending to the series.
I mean, I really love 5, but yeah, it was just doomed, I think, from the start.
5 had good gameplay, but I don't know. I felt the story was lacking.
I think like yeah, like 5, like the loop itself is really like you can just dick around for hours and hours. But in terms of it being like a finished game, it's not really his fault though, because I feel like they pulled the funding.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, it was still a fun game for what it was. But I
But
will
it
say,
is interesting to see later, like in Death Stranding 2, he's sort of like taking the things he was doing or trying to do in Metal Gear 5 and perfecting them.
this leads into actually part of my last bit before I pass it back on. But I seriously wish that we got that Kojima Silent Hill game.
I think a lot of people do.
Because that would have been such an amazing game. And, like, I'm excited for Silent Hill F. I think Silent Hill F looks really good. Especially the person who wrote the story for that game is someone who wrote, like, one of my favorite visual novels and also one of my favorite animes. So I'm excited to see what he does with Silent Hill F. But man, that Kojima one would have been fucking special.
I guess we'll never know.
No, I mean, probably yeah, we'll never know. But I'm just thinking Kojima with Guillermo del Toro and Junji Ito working on this game. It was something cool was bound to be in there, and it sucks that we'll never find out.
But it's still impressive he managed to do PT just as like a teaser,
Yeah,
and that has survived. Like it's been over a decade now, and people still talk about it.
well, speaking of
And
games,
I feel like PT inspired like a bunch of. I feel like without PT, we wouldn't have had Resident Evil 7.
I would agree with that. And I
Because
think
like
PT launch, well, I mean, this is already kind of a trend, but I think that whole, like, first person horror game where you're not really fighting against anything, but it's more like you're learning about stuff and hiding from enemies. Like, that got popularized with, like, Amnesia, but I also think
yeah,
that PT definitely really played into that.
I feel like PT made it into like the AAA games. I
Yeah.
should say.
Well, I mean, I
Whereas
think
before it was
PT
more the indie stuff.
Yeah. I mean, Outlast also kind of brought it more onto the mainstream thing, too. But
That's
yeah.
true.
Anyway, I've been playing Silent Hill 2 Remake, which that game is still fucking scary. Even after you beat it, even if you know what's coming, it is still one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Yeah.
It's it's that and Alan Wake 2. Like, I want to replay Alan Wake 2, but then I'm also like, why is it so scary? I don't want to I don't want to put myself through that again.
It's just tense. Yeah, I don't know.
It's super tense. But yeah, I've been enjoying Silent Hill 2 Remake, but my last two recommendations, just to be quick, is I started watching the new season of Twisted Metal. And did either of you watch like Twisted Metal season 1?
Yeah, I did.
Have you seen
Yeah, I have.
have you seen season 2 yet?
No? It's
Pick-
out?
The first 3 episodes are out. They're releasing it in 3-episode batches. So the first 3
No, I
episodes,
haven't.
the first 3 episodes came out. It's the first season, but bigger and better.
Okay.
They're definitely showing off their budget because they have a bigger budget now. So every episode you're getting cool car shit. The second season, the story's essentially Calypso's tournament is beginning. And so it's the characters getting ready to join Calypso's tournament for that giant. So the one winner gets their wish. And like the first episodes are just kind of setting up everything. Where Joe realizes living inside the walls isn't what he thought it was, and he wants to get back out. Quiet's part of this group that's run by Joe's sister, who's Dollface, and they're kind of on the outside creating the survival group. There is Sweet Tooth just doing his thing, and he's still so fucking funny. And just all...
I loved it in the first episode, at least with Sweet Tooth. He like he'll be like killing someone, and they'll be like, "Are you the big baby?" And he's like, "Who is that?" And it's like the most vicious kill. And then he'll go track down whoever the big baby is, and then he'll
And then he
kill them.
tracks
And
a
then
big baby and finds another killer, and he's like, "Come on, what's with all these killers?" And then, well, an episode.
yeah, I watched the yeah.
That's when Stu comes up with the idea to create a call so all the killers can meet together and kill each other. And Sweet Tooth is like, "That's a great idea." But no, it's literally just the first season, but they definitely have had a step up, and it's better car action. The story kind of gets going a bit faster because everything's been established at this point, and I'm really excited to see where it goes once the car stuff like really starts going in, the tournament begins. They also cast the perfect actor for Calypso, Anthony Carrigan, who is a NoHo Hank from Barry. He is so funny. And besides that, the only other recommendation I have is I started this really absurd Russian book called Blue Lard because Matt the other week was talking about Russian surrealist short fiction from the New York Review of Books, which got me back into the New York Review of Books, and I found this book called Blue Lard by Vladimir Sorokin, which is a science fiction novel that takes place in the future where it exists in a Serbia, and the book's told through like letters. And it's this guy writing these letters, and essentially in this facility they are trying to clone all the famous Russian writers. And the idea is they want to clone them to have them be alive again so they can write new works. And when they begin writing new pieces of literature, they create something that's called Blue Lard, which is like this thing that gathers in pouches on like the base of their neck and the inside of their thighs near their groins. And the people then harvest this blue lard and use it like a drug. And this book was extremely controversial when it came out in Russia. Like a bunch of people like tore it up and burned it in the streets because I guess there's a scene that's a gay sex scene between Stalin and like somebody else. And like he pokes a lot of fun at like Russian history and Russian politics and Russian art, and just the way that it's just going to get under people's skin. And it's pretty entertaining so far, but it's also difficult to read because he just throws shit at you from the beginning. Like literally the first in the first page he's throwing French at you, he's throwing Chinese at you, he's throwing Japanese at you. And they don't translate into these terms, they're just there in the book. So like if you don't know what it means, you gotta either look it up or keep on moving. And I think it makes it interesting, but it's definitely one of those books that's definitely up Matt Brandenburg's alley, if I say so myself. But so far, it's quite enjoyable. And do you have anything else, Fitlame?
No, like I said, it's been hectic.
Understandable. My summer is my chill time because summer school's pretty laid back. But Sean, what about you? Do you have anything else?
No, not really.
All right. Why don't we kind of turn the page then and check out the Nowhere Complex? Which
Yeah.
what was your, just? I know this is kind of a question that's kind of general, but what were your inspirations for writing the Nowhere Complex?
And let's see. Well, I guess it started from sort of a pure place of like, since about 2019, I was watching a lot of game movies on YouTube, and I was unemployed and kind of like in between figuring out my money situation because we moved to Santa Fe from Boston. And I think during that time, as a literary person, as a writer, I was like, are there any books like Silent Hill? That was how it started. I was like, so I'd be Googling like books like Silent Hill and keeping my eyes open. And, you get recommendations like Phantoms by Dean Koontz, which is a great book. And the
Absolutely
Pine
bombing
series by
Phantoms,
Blake
yo.
Crouch, which are good. But you get a lot of recommendations where I felt like a lot of it was that it would be a creepy town, which is fair because Silent Hill. That's a lot of what Silent Hill is a creepy town. But I think what over time I realized what I was looking for was like that psychological darkness that Silent Hill has. So I feel like you get two schools of thought. You get like Silent Hill is about the town and about this creepy place, and then you got the other side, which is Silent Hill is about like dark psychology and like this other world that cuts into ours. And I guess I was looking more for the other, for the latter. And I just kind of wasn't finding it as much. And then just, being into J horror from the 2000s, stuff like Ju-on and that is The Grudge. Ju-on, The Grudge, Ringu, just stuff like that. And then more mainstream stuff, like obviously King's The Shining, since it's sort of like a creepy haunted hotel, kind of. The works of Clive Barker, the works of Thomas Ligotti. So kind of all of that sort of stuff. It's funny, it actually started as a script. I had read that producers, not for anybody, mind you, this was just for fun. But I had read that producers like it when you can write in a universe, like even if it's not going to go anywhere, you're like, hey, I wrote this script for Breaking Bad. Just to show them, like, see, I can, like, write in this kind of universe. So I started writing a script for Sinister 3, because I was like, I didn't like Sinister 2, and I wonder what I could do with it. And I got, like, 45 pages into it, this being the Sinister 3 script, and I was like, man, like, this is pretty good. I should just make this into my own novel, and, like, fuck the Sinister 3 stuff. So that was kind of what I did, but some of it's still there. You can kind of tell in that the found footage aspects, like finding the film and like the
VHS and the DVD.
Yeah,
I like
the
progression of modern modern technology going through in the story.
Yeah, that was sort of like what I wanted to bring to the Sinister 3 thing was like, well, we'll do film, but then since it's an art student, it'll slowly get modernized and into different formats. But yeah, and then, I don't know, I dropped a bunch of books, and like, I love the books, but some books don't do as good as others, and so I had this string of kind of like crime horror and slashers that people seem to get a little mid on. I think later on people will probably find them and enjoy them, but for now, I was like, okay, message received. I'll write a new kind of standalone type of thing, and I hadn't done a haunted house novel. So this is sort of my first foray into a haunted house novel, albeit it's not really a haunted house novel. I mean, it is and it isn't.
Yeah, it has aspects of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say you said like this is your kind of first foray into a haunted house novel. If I heard that correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it definitely has elements of it. I felt like what you were saying earlier, the Silent Hill inspiration is like very, very clear. Especially, I don't know, having played Silent Hill The Room, like 4, I feel like that was kind of something I picked up on a little bit.
I think in terms of, and actually it's good you brought this up, in terms of direct inspiration, Silent Hill 4 The Room is probably the main one, since so much of it does take place in, an apartment.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention earlier, there's sort of like a luxury apartment aspect to this, which I think was kind of me trying to do like I like a lot of people watch Succession, and I watched Triangle of Sadness, and been watching White Lotus, and I think, that was one aspect of it. Was if it had been a regular apartment, I don't know that. I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Something about it being this kind of aspirational, expensive, like intentionally expensive luxury place, and that the only way she can afford to live there is that her parents died. Something about that was like, that's so dark. Because it's kind of like the aspirational part is like, wow, finally living my dreams in this beautiful place. But like knowing the only way you could get there was this terrible tragedy is like, that's pretty fucked up.
I think when you mentioned the White Lotus and Succession and everything, and adding that into the luxury apartment aspect of it, I definitely saw that with the inhabitants of the apartments because they
Yeah, they're
all
kind of unabashed rich dicks. I don't know
Yeah.
how
yeah
else to say
well
it politely.
yeah, and it's like not only that, it's just like what really happens with this kind of decadence, this kind of opulence, is a lot of boredom follows, and what do you do when you're bored? You do these kind of depraved things just to keep you entertained.
Yeah, because I felt like it. I think another going back to Silent Hill. I think one thing was like, I guess a lot of it was like, if I was writing a Silent Hill, like what would be my Silent Hill? Obviously, um, even though it's not directly, I should specify not directly. Don't sue me, Konami. Uh, Cease and desist. No, it's not. There are no overt, like Silent Hill does not exist in this universe. It probably exists as a game, but no one mentions it. Um, but I guess I was like, Silent Hill. So much of them are about like almost like poor people porn, kind of. It's just like it's so like like it's the greasy spoon diner, it's this and that. And I was like, it would be interesting to bring a luxury aspect to a Silent Hill, especially then when everything goes to the Silent Hill kind of world of rust and blood and just like rot. It's even more pronounced, I think. I think
Mm-hmm.
visually it would be more striking. It's kind of hard to entirely. This was what I realized writing it. It was like, how do you convey luxury in text? And I
Yeah.
kind of was like, well, you mentioned nice furniture, but at some point you're kind of just going, it was nice. And you're like, okay, well, I actually have to describe how it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was definitely in there as well. Sorry, I have ADHD, so I don't even remember what the original question was. I'll start rambling.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure I have ADHD too, but never been tested for it, so it's all okay.
I feel like everyone
Same.
has it now. I feel like even if you didn't have ADHD now, you do.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with like the rise of
Like,
technology,
yeah, like
definitely.
TikTok and everything. But anyway, well,
And everything's killing our
That's a
Yeah.
attention
whole
spans.
other
But
concept to talk
that's a
about.
whole other book of mine. Yeah.
yeah, that's a whole different horror story from this one. Let me say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but when it came to
You
you go, Vitlame.
Oh no, you start.
I was gonna say the characters in this book are I found interesting, and also I'm not gonna get like I don't know how deep you want to get into spoilers, so I'm going to
I'd prefer you not spoil it too much. I mean,
okay.
especially
I'll
don't
avoid
spoil.
spoilers. I found your
Yeah.
characters like in this book to be interesting to the point where like
I mean, you can mention who the characters are. Yeah.
oh I'm terrible at names, so I'm not the person
You can literally just
for that.
describe them as like, because I would think of them as like kind of like rich dick businessman and
Yeah.
like
Well,
slutty
it's like
reality show lady.
it's like what was it? The detective Nix, right? Like I thought
Which is, by the way, Nyx is a direct nod to the character from Lord of Illusions.
interesting.
The main cult leader in Lord of Illusions is named Nyx, spelled the same way.
Like I thought Nix, for instance, was interesting, and part of what got me thinking about this book is I mean this is kind of like a light spoiler, but just how over sexualized everything is with like just the characters and this apartment building. But also like, bringing her into it, it began to make this text feel like in a I'm trying to word this right. It made the text feel abnormal in a way, where it's like these characters
Yes.
are like way too sexual at like some points, which began to kind of play into the surrealness, I want to say, of the
I
world of this
think
book.
I think what it was so if you watch the original Silent Hill game movie,
Yeah,
for instance, the first scene is you wake up and you're like after the car crash. Is it Henry? I think it's Henry.
Henry. Yeah,
Well, anyway, the dad, he wakes up and he's like, oh, and he's in this like diner, and immediately this cop kind of like saunters over and is like, hey, so, there's monsters out there, and it's just like weirdly sexual for no reason.
yeah. Well, it's like when Nix gives her her card. She's like, "Call me if you have to say any more, or if you want me to eat you out." Like, I just remember reading that, and I was like, "Man, everything's so sexualized in this." And like, was your point of making this so sexualized to like add to the surrealness aspect of it, or was it kind of like a nod to that aspect of Silent Hill?
I think initially my plan had been, which I sort of I think pulled off, is that your main core characters are normal, and then everyone around them is insane. That's sort of like because I like the idea. I believe in absurdism. Like I like to do absurdist things in my work.
Hmm.
So that's some of it, but I think it's also just yeah, like overtly trying to call back to like those early game since they had a limited amount of time. They had to really rush things, so like you would get weirdly just like violent in 1 second or like weirdly over sexual second. And because I was watching a lot of game movies before writing it, and it just kind of struck me as it literally would be like, oh my god, there's a monster. Hey, check out my boobs. And you're like, holy shit. You just forget. You forget how odd it would be back. And now that they actually have the time, they can like make it normal in like a movie. But back in the day with like cutscenes, they had a limited amount of time. So they would have to kind of incorporate a lot of stuff and a lot of different types of dialogue into a very short period. So if it makes sense, that was sort of why I did that.
That
I mean,
that
there's
makes sense.
obviously another reason, but I don't want to get into it. Kind of getting into spoilers.
Yeah, we can hold off if you don't want to get too into the spoilers, so that's okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to mention the parts 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and also I will say to just to our audience, and then Vitlame, I know you had a question. Um, I think parts 5, 6, and 7 is really where this book like picks up. Like for me, when I was reading it, I was like into it. It was reading pretty fast, but once I got like to parts 5, 6, 7, it was just a stretch to the end. Like I read those three parts in one sitting, just because I got into it super by that point. But
I mean, I think in terms of it being like a video game inspired novel, that's like that is the part that's literally like a video game.
I'd agree with that. But
Everything else is sort of leading to that, but you realize if I had done the whole book like 5, 6, and 7, it still would have been good, I think, but it would have been a very different book.
it would, yeah,
Like
I
you
would
wouldn't
agree
have
with
had
that.
a sense of the characters, and the stakes might not have been as they might not have resonated as much with people, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, I can see that. And Vitlame, I know you had a question.
Uh, yeah, I was just wondering, Sean, did like did you have any inspiration specifically? I can't talk specifically for the characters?
Inspirations for the characters. Let's see. Um,
I mean, aside from obvious the Silent Hill ones, but did you like draw for any real life experience for the characters?
um, not well. Trying to think. I mean, Liv. No, Liv. I kind of just created. Well, if you've played Silent Hill: The Short Message, Liv is not like that girl, but I definitely was inspired by the fact that there was this Silent Hill It's I don't know how to yeah, like a short game
Yeah, I mean, well,
where it was
also the apartment building of Short Message too. That's the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
like
So
vibe.
I guess that's Silent Hill 4 and then the short message. But I would say Liv is not like overtly that girl from that game. She's also older, so so Liv think I kind of I think intentionally my main characters I tend to create them mostly whole cloth because I want them to be the most like of mine, the most like my creation, not necessarily stand in, but like it's the most like I and like created Live. Like in terms of James, obviously James is a nod to Silent Hill 2. Um, no, I don't know that James is actually inspired by anyone in particular. It's almost like doing the James from Silent Hill 2, but like in a slightly different, well, a very different way. Not even a slightly different way. Um, in terms of Detective Nix, um, I don't know. I've seen True Detective as much as season 2 is the worst season. The Rachel McAdams character in that, I'm definitely inspired by her a lot. I kind of feel like if season 2 of True Detective had just been the Rachel McAdams character, it might have been a much better season. Like I loved that. Um, but yeah, I guess Detective Nix is kind of just like a. I guess the whole point is she's you're almost getting into stereotypes. So Detective Nix is that like sort of stereotypical 40 something hard boiled noir detective who walks around in an undershirt and always has her gun on her and is over sexual. That is part of it.
She
Like if
needs
you
the
watch
fedora
noir films, those noir detectives are just so horny all the time.
all the time. She needs a fedora too.
Um, I didn't give her a fedora at least. Um, and then Trixie, man, I will say this: I put a lot of time into editing certain. It wouldn't be what you'd expect because like the horror stuff comes to me very naturally, so I didn't have to adjust it too much. But in terms of Trixie, it's this fine line of like you want her to be a rich bitch, but like you don't like I'm a man writing a woman, so I don't want to come across as like super sexist or something. So it's that fine line of like making her sort of terrible, but at the same time like not super. I don't know, like because you should have seen some of the dialogue initially. I think a line I cut was she was like, I would fuck a bar of gold, like, or something. And even I was like, that's a bit much. Like, for someone to just be thinking in their everyday, that's a bit much. Um, but yeah, so, but Trixie, yeah, Trixie's like the most, I think, like a White Lotus type character.
Hmm.
Like, she's the most, like, maybe like Jennifer Coolidge from White Lotus seasons 1 and 2. Um,
I could see that actually.
and
She
then
was
the
kind of
other,
like that stuck-up
yeah,
rich character too.
yeah, and I feel bad because like they're all my characters, so like even the shitheads, like I don't want them to die necessarily, but it's a horror book, and that's kind of why you create them. It's kind
Well,
of sad. You
they're supposed
invent
to
these
die.
characters just so they can die. You're like, oh man. A lot of the time, I should say, not all the time, but. And then what's funny is really a really late edition was forgive me, I forget their actual names. I think of them as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. But God, what are their names? Danny and Damien.
Damon.
Uh, or Damon, sorry. Danny and Damon. I think I initially had Damien, and then I was like, two on the nose. Um, and I think they were later in when I just realized I space, and it's like supposed to be this apartment building, but in this original draft, it was like Liv, James, Trixie, and there might have, and I might have still had the random British guy, Jeremy, but that was it. And I realized, like, well, this isn't really an apartment. It's supposed to be isolated, but like, people isn't really. It's barely a floor. So I invented 2 more characters to sort of fill up the world and make it seem more like an actual apartment complex. And I just thought it would be funny to have like, basically like a Paris Hilton type, and then like a. God, I thought of him as Patrick Bateman, but like me doing Patrick Bateman, kind of. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Again, I am random. Oh yeah, so you asked what if I was inspired by anything specifically for the characters. Yeah, so that.
Interesting. I mean, like, I think all the characters are definitely unique, and they all got pretty brutal deaths.
Yeah.
So,
It was very important to me. Was no one, no one gets it easy. I guess.
I'll put it this way.
No,
feel the worst
I think the one who got it easy was James.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
admit James. He's not my stand-in, but like he's the most like me. It's just like, I mean, again, you're the person writing it, so you like to think you're suave. I'm this great, intelligent suave, but he's kind of a dick too. So,
I will say this.
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess I gave it to him. Yeah,
I will say this. I cannot look at Pez dispensers the same anymore.
Yeah.
well, thank
That
you.
that was a good description.
Yeah. A very vivid description, but it was good. Won't get into what that means. Our listeners will have to find out themselves, but yeah, that was a good one.
Thank you. I did work fairly hard because I guess there's 2 like main aspects of this. It's like one which is like the almost more normal novel territory, which is creating the characters and the setting and the plot. And then there's the other side, which is just like making it like Silent Hill. I won't say how else I did it, but that part, once I had it figured out, it was easy to write, but like it did take a little sketching and kind of being like looking at some of the Silent Hill monsters and being like, okay, like again, like if this was making a Silent Hill game, like what kind of monsters would I want? So some of them are very sexualized, but at the same time, that's kind of directly from Silent Hill as well.
Yeah, no, Silent Hill has a lot of
the
weird.
bobblehead nurses or whatever, or bubblehead, whatever the nurses are in Silent Hill too.
Yeah,
like they're clearly sexualized.
Even Pyramid Head, when you first see Pyramid Head, it's essentially sexually assaulting one of like the mannequin monsters. Like that.
Yeah,
that whole scene.
That is one aspect of the remake that I was
really
kind of like.
Like that whole scene you first see Pyramid Head is meant to make you feel like uncomfortable. Once you realize what it's simulating, you're like, oh, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
I love Silent Hill. Like those games are so fucked up, but they're so good. I'm excited for Silent Hill F. I've told everybody I cannot wait to poop my pants in September when this comes out.
Hell yeah, man! I'm excited too. I will say it's kind of weird that it seems like the '60s are coming back everywhere.
Yeah, that is a
Maybe
little bit
that's
weird.
just. It's a little weird that everybody was like, "What if we went back to the '60s instead of the 2000s? What if it's the '60s now?" So that's sort of like the new Fantastic Four. It's sort of the vibe of at least the outfit in Superman, and then Silent Hill F is in the '60s. So someone somewhere '60s, and everybody kind of follows suit.
We're gonna have to wrap this up shortly, just to keep this around an hour. But Vladimir, do you have any final questions for Sean?
No, I think that was it. Like, because we need to keep people on the edge of their seats, we have to keep it on the down low, don't we?
Yeah, we can't spoil the.
Yeah,
fun
that's sorry. I don't mean to be a jerk about not spoiling it, but like it is really one of those books where it's like once you kind of get further in, like if you knew, I think it would.
I was telling, I mean, like, I won't get too into it, but I was saying, like, the back half of this book is where it really gets going. So if you think, like, the first part feels kind of aimless, so you're not too sure where it's going or heading up to, stick with it, because once it gets to, like, the end of part 4 to part 5, it shifts gears significantly, and it's a ride from there. And the whole book's a ride to begin with, but once part 5 hits, it's like when the roller coaster reaches its peak and starts going on the downhill slope, and you're just seeing everything come together. It gets really intense.
I think the first part, I wouldn't say aimless, obviously.
I wouldn't say aimless.
But,
Aimless is a bad word to use, but you know what
but
I mean.
I would say
Like,
more like the first part is more getting into the luxury of it and opulence and like what rich people, yeah, like Vladimir said, they're bored. So what do they get up to? They take drugs and they fuck. That's kind of like what happens. And they're mean to people.
oh, they're so mean to people.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
But is there anything, last things you want our listeners to know about your book before we sign off?
Yeah, the Nowhere Complex is available on Amazon. I have it on draft to digital, which means that link that has it, the ebook on Barnes and Noble, Apple Books. I would have to check, but there's a bunch of other sites it puts it on. So, but I tend to, when I'm linking to, I'll do the Amazon link and then I'll do digital link directly, or Barnes and Noble and Apple Books. So those are, but yeah, I think the big three are Amazon, Apple Books, and Barnes and Noble. Amazon's the only place you can get the print. I wish I could go other places. I just can't afford it right now. But if you buy this book a lot, it does well. Maybe I can get it off Amazon for the print.
Oh, that'll be good.
And yeah, if you read it and like it, please, leave a review on Amazon. I know that's broken record territory, but like it really does help us get the word out. So, and Goodreads as well.
And where can our listeners get in touch with you?
You can't.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Sean is untouchable, so leave him alone.
I live in a remote island. No, I'm on. Do we still call it Twitter? I'm on Zitter. I'm one of the few people left at Spooky Sean T. But if you don't like Twitter, it's fine. I don't even really like it either. I'm on Facebook, Sean Malia Thompson. I am on Blue Sky. I think it's Spooky Sean T. I'm on Threads. I don't know if anyone else is on Threads. Also Spooky Sean T, Instagram Spooky. And I recently got more into TikTok, much to my partner's chagrin. But that is also Spooky Sean T. Mostly it's just a cat, but occasionally I mention I'm a writer.
Awesome. So check out Spooky Sean T. I'm sure tons of your stuff will pop up. And
I used to have a website called SpookySean.com where it was a blog. So
that is a good URL site though, Spooky Sean.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
gone now because I couldn't believe I got it. By the way, I had it for almost 10.
And Vladimir, where can listeners get in touch with you?
They can find me on Instagram at Fangs and Light, and on Blue Sky at Vladimir Mist, and I also have my website that again still desperately needs to be updated at VladimirMistAuthor.com.
And you can follow me on Blue Sky and on Instagram at Rudy53088. And this is Richard Gerlach saying keep staring.